Narcissists are chronically miserable. Narcissists may seem confident, charming, and happy on the outside, but inside they are deeply unhappy and dissatisfied people. Their inflated ego and false self hides a fragile self-esteem and lack of identity. Narcissists are addicted to external validation to fill their inner emptiness, but no amount of praise or attention will ever be enough. This sets them up for chronic unhappiness and frustration. Here are 10 reasons why narcissists are miserable. 1. Their ego is a black hole they can never fill. At the core of narcissism is a black hole of endless need. Narcissists have a gaping inner emptiness that they are constantly trying to fill with external validation. Their ego is a bottomless pit that demands more and more praise, attention, and adoration in order to feel full. But no matter how much they get, they remain insecure and unhappy. They are never satisfied because their ego can never be truly filled. They are stuck on a hedonic treadmill, constantly chasing the next hit of glory or attention. This endless hunger leads to chronic disappointment. 2. Lack of genuine self-worth and identity. Narcissists do not have a solid sense of identity or self-worth. Their grandiose false self is a facade covering up fragile self-esteem. Underneath, they feel defective, empty, and incomplete. Rather than developing real self-esteem, narcissists pursue endless external validation. They need others to constantly prop them up. This leaves them feeling hollow inside, like a flimsy house of cards that could collapse at any moment if the applause stops. It's exhausting trying to pump up such fragile self-worth all the time. 3. Hypersensitive to criticism. Narcissists have an excessive need for compliments and praise, but they are also hypersensitive to criticism. Even minor critiques and slights can trigger intense rage or send them into an emotional tailspin. They take everything as a personal attack. Because they think so highly of themselves, being criticized shatters their false self-image. This leads to defensiveness, anger, and a constant state of feeling offended. In reality, they are overcompensating for low self-esteem. But this sets them up for unhappiness whenever reality fails to match their grandiose expectations. 4. Relationship difficulties. Narcissists struggle to have healthy reciprocal relationships. Their arrogance, need for control, and lack of empathy make them argumentative, critical, and demanding. Their constant need for validation requires excessive flattery and praise from their partner. Their sense of entitlement makes them bad listeners. They envy and devalue others while overvaluing themselves. This leads to conflict and hostility. Narcissists end up driving people away, then blame others for their loneliness and failed relationships. In truth, they are miserable because of their own egotism. 5. Addicted to fantasy. Narcissists construct grandiose fantasies as an escape from their disappointing reality. They daydream about their superiority, ideal love, unlimited success, and affirmation of their false self. Then they feel frustrated and enraged when real life fails to play into this fantasy narrative. Their grandiosity and perfectionism prevent them from enjoying life as it is. No real achievement is ever good enough. Ironically, this addiction to fantasy leads narcissists to be miserable in the real world. Life cannot keep up with their imagination or ego. 6. Projection and Paranoia. Narcissists often project their own faults onto others. If they lie or cheat, they assume others are lying and cheating too. Their manipulativeness and selfishness makes them distrustful and paranoid about other people's motives. They interpret innocent behaviors as threats. For example, if you do better than them at something, they assume you are trying to undermine them. Their distorted thinking creates constant suspicion, distrust, and fear. They believe they are the innocent victims of people's hidden agendas. These delusions keep them feeling bitter and victimized. In reality, they are troubled and unhappy within themselves. 7. Compulsively create drama. Narcissists are addicted to narcissistic supply, attention for their ego, whether positive or negative. They will stir up arguments and drama just to be the center of attention. They pick fights and create chaos to make themselves the star of the show. They blame and criticize others to get a reaction. They pretend to be a victim to garner sympathy. This constant antagonism leads to an exhausting roller coaster of conflict. They are stressed dealing with the crises they create, yet they crave the drama at the same time. They get bored without it. 8. Lack empathy and emotional depth. Narcissists lack emotional depth and empathy. They are missing the capacity to genuinely care about others or form deeper human connections. Relationships feel superficial because they are based on what others provide for the narcissist. They do not understand love as mutual compassion, caring, and respect. Their emotional world is shallow, limited to serving their own ego. This prevents them from experiencing the richness and meaning of life. They are cut off from the heart of human experience. No wonder they are miserable. 9. Addicted to feeling superior. Narcissists feel compelled to compare themselves to others in order to feel superior. This is because deep down they feel inferior. They cannot enjoy everyday life because they must self-promote and tear others down. They take pride in outdoing others with their talent, intelligence, success, popularity, or specialness. This arrogant bravado hides emptiness inside. It's taxing trying to pump up their fragile self-image all the time. Feeling better than others becomes their full-time job. 10. Failure to take responsibility. Narcissists avoid emotional maturity. They blame others for their problems, disappointments, failures, and unhappiness. They play the victim, seeing themselves as oppressed by unreasonable demands to change. They refuse to take an honest self-inventory or get counseling, continuing the same negative patterns. By shifting blame to external things, narcissists fail to take responsibility for their misery. They trap themselves in denial, avoidance, and projection. They miss opportunities for self-awareness and growth that could lead to genuine happiness. In summary, narcissists are chronically miserable for these 10 reasons. Their ego is a black hole, lack of self-worth, hypersensitive to criticism, relationship struggles, fantasy addiction, projection and paranoia, drama addiction, lack of empathy, arrogance and superiority, and failure to take responsibility. Until narcissists are willing to confront their false self and engage in real self-work, they will remain perpetually dissatisfied. They blame others but are truly unhappy within themselves.